guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're making lasagna. As many of you know, Diwali is coming up, and for Diwali we make a few dishes. It's a tradition. And for today we're making lasagna. Lasagna has all the flavors I want. Soft, creamy, cheesy and spicy. And for lasagna you need basically two things. Patience, a lot of time, and good ingredients. You cannot use any type of cheese. You need a specific blend that suits your choice. Now the ingredients. First we need lasagna sheets. These are made up of semolina and eggs. Then we need a dish like this. Now, it's pretty small. We can fit one lasagna sheet in it. This is ground up chicken. We need to grind it up to make it soft and tender. These are 4 cloves of garlic, black pepper, oregano, salt, butter, carrots, onion, milk, cranberry juice, water, olive oil, and this is passata. Passata is a very specific ingredient for lasagna and other types of pasta. Of reduced tomatoes. It has a blend of reduced tomatoes. One is seasoned and one is unseasoned and reduced. So now this is the cheese. This cheese is made of cheddar and mozzarella. Heated up pan and some olive oil. We're gonna go pretty generous with the olive oil because we want a lot of rich flavors in it. So go pretty generous with it. And then after the oil heats up a little bit, we're gonna put in our carrots and our onions. Carrots and onions, it makes a sofrito. Sofrito is the base of this sauce. So now that the oil has heated up, we'll put in our carrots. And we don't want it to sizzle too much or else it will burn very quickly. So put your carrots and onions and then stir. Just stir for 1 to 2 seconds and then we're gonna be ready for the meat. Now we're gonna put in our garlic. We put the garlic in later so it doesn't burn. If you have any experience with garlic, you know that it burns very quickly. So we just stir it again for a quick second and then we put in our ground up chicken. You have to go pretty generous with it because this sauce has a lot of meat and it requires a lot of meat. So just put it in and let it simmer. Now when there's a little bit of brown color, whitish color on the meat, then you can put in a glass of, you can put either chicken stock, red wine, but since these were not available, I'm putting half a glass of, this is cranberry juice. You can use apple juice or apple cider vinegar. Anything will work. As you can see here, the meat is nice and moist. It has a lot of moisture, and when it has this much moisture, this is the time when you put in your fresh passata. You don't use pre-made passata. It doesn't taste as good as homemade passata. So this is about 1 kilogram tomatoes reduced in this bowl. We're just gonna put it all in there. This is where the magic begins. This is where it's gonna reduce its flavors, and now this is the time when it's gonna slowly simmer away for at least 2 hours. For the first hour you wanna keep stirring. You have to keep stirring it for the first hour in like 5-minute intervals. But in the second hour you just have to leave it there and just let it do its thing. After an hour, this hour is a very painful hour because you just have to keep on stirring for an hour. I did it and now my hands hurt. So after this, you just use one standard glass of water. This glass of water will prevent the sauce to burn because we have to simmer it for another hour but without stirring. So put this in and then stir just a little bit. And this will bring out the flavors of the lasagna even more. And this is a very crucial part, because if you don't do this, the lasagna will taste very bland and unevenly tasted. When the sauce at this stage it's quite runny, this is the time when we put in the seasoning. We just put little bit of salt. You need to put 2 tablespoons. Oregano and black pepper. It may seem like a lot, but it's not. It will just reduce a lot and then it will just taste okay. Because when you put it on high heat for a time, it will just minimize the flavors. So guys, it's been 2 hours. This sauce has been making itself for 2 hours and now it's done, and we're rewarded with this amazing sauce. I can't tell you how good it tastes. It's getting very close to plating time. So now we're gonna make the bechamel sauce or the white sauce. The white sauce first requires 1 tablespoon of butter, and while making bechamel, you remember to keep the flame on medium low so it doesn't burn. Then you put in the butter and wait for the butter to melt. You just wait for the butter to melt. After this, when we add our flour, we're gonna make a roux. The roux is the base of bechamel sauce. Now we're gonna also add equal amounts of flour and then we stir. Now this is called a roux. The roux is the base of bechamel. We're gonna cook this for about 5 minutes so that the floury taste goes away, and then we're gonna add the milk. It's done. Now we slowly add in our milk. We need to do this part by part. Oh, I'm spilling. Now for this bechamel, we just gotta keep stirring. You gotta stir, because if you don't, the bechamel is gonna get stuck to the bottom of the pan, and then you're gonna have to start from scratch, and nobody wants that. So keep stirring with a large whisk. It goes very rapidly, so you have to keep an eye on it. Whenever it starts to bubble, that's a sign that it's time to take it off. Bechamel has been cooking for 2 minutes. Now we put in our cheddar and mozzarella blend. We gotta put it pretty generously and keep it on low heat. You gotta go pretty generous with it, and don't do it when it is too late. Otherwise, what will happen is it will get stuck to the pan and it will not melt, and you're gonna have to turn up the heat, and then it will become too thick. And if bechamel becomes too thick, it basically becomes a dough. So you don't want that. Now that this beautiful bechamel sauce has been made, look at how fantastic it looks. It's so thick and gorgeous. So now we're just gonna scrub some olive oil, especially on the side, so that the lasagna doesn't stick. Now you wanna put more oil on the side, because the sides are the places where the lasagna sticks the most. So our first layer is going to be the meat sauce. Don't go crazy with the first layer. You just want to put a little bit on the first layer. We're gonna put more when we go a little bit up at the top. This layer we just have to put a little bit, just to make it as a glue. Just have to use it as a glue for the next layer of pasta. Then we put a layer of pasta. We put a layer of pasta in it. Then we put even more meat sauce. You just have to go mildly on each layer. Don't go crazy with anything. You don't want to take away the flavors of cheese or the bechamel. Everything should be as equal as possible, so that you get all the flavors equally. After this, we're gonna put one more layer of pasta. After that, we're gonna put the bechamel, one layer of bechamel over here. This was the second layer of pasta. Now we're gonna put some of this bechamel. Put it while it's still hot. When it's hot, it will soak into the pasta. I mean, it will not soak into the pasta as much when it's cold. So you have to put it pretty evenly. I actually love bechamel. The more bechamel, the better. So we're gonna put a lot of bechamel on this layer. And remember, we have to put 4 layers of pasta. So don't go crazy with anything. We put our pasta inside, I mean the cheese inside. We don't have to put too much cheese. The cheese will put more at the top. The bottom we just have to put it so it's there. Not for flavor. It just has to give it a color and a nice look when it's done. Then we put another layer of pasta. This is a third layer of pasta. So we put this. Then we put more meat sauce. This layer you have to go pretty heavy with the meat sauce, because this layer is the layer where we put a lot of meat sauce, a lot of bechamel, a lot of cheese. So you just have to put all of them generously. Put some more cheese. We put some more cheese. As I told you, this layer is the layer that we put the most cheese. But the top we have to put the same amount, but this layer is the best layer because it's my favorite layer. It's having a lot of cheese, a lot of pasta, and a lot of meat sauce. This is the last layer. This is the layer with the most bechamel sauce, because this is gonna give the lasagna its signature look, the white look on the top. So you have to go generous with it. And when I say generous, I mean it. This is the final layer of cheese. This is what's gonna give it that nice crispy crackle topping. You can see I made 2 more lasagnas after the first one. Now what we wanna do is we wanna bake it. We will bake it for 20. The first batch will go for 20 minutes on the medium bake. It will go for 20 minutes. Now we wanna bake on medium mode. We want to bake it on medium for the first batch for 20 minutes. So we're going to do it for 20 minutes at 150 degree. Put in the lasagnas. We're going to put it on. Now we're going to close it and then set it on 150. Look at these beautiful lasagnas. They have this nice golden brown top and they look so good. This is because I put them on the broiler for 5, maybe 10 minutes, and then